Hi everybody. Today is going to be my first cooking video for the holiday dishes. As I posted yesterday on Connect, I am going to be putting together a compilation of all recipes from all three of the digital download cookbooks that are free, that have any, they feel like they could have anything to do with a holiday, Thanksgiving or Christmas meal whatsoever. Dips, sauces, side dishes, desserts, anything that you could use for holidays. Right now it's about 80 pages long. I'm throwing everything together and I will post it hopefully by this coming Monday, and it'll be a nitty-gritty holiday survival guide, low point version, with everything I can throw into it for everybody. So happy holidays! But today is the first video for holiday side dish cooking thing. I'm going to be doing my low point stuffing and dressing. I did notice today while I was going over the recipe in the builder, because I haven't checked it out in the builder in 2 years when I first posted it. There is a discrepancy. It says 2 points for the first 3/4 cup serving on green. It's actually 3 points, not 2. I will correct that today on the download pages and elsewhere. But yeah, so it's 3 points on green for a 3/4 cup serving and 2 points on blue purple. That's because, and I checked, if you use 2 whole eggs versus just plain egg whites, the points stay the same, 3. The only points in this recipe for greenies are the egg, the pound of 99% fat-free ground turkey that's made into Italian sausage, though I would highly recommend mixing up my bratwurst recipe because it has all of the sage and everything else in it. It's very fall flavory. I have Italian sausage in this recipe because at the time that I made this, I only had 4 seasoning mixes. Now I have 10. The biggest player in this is low point bread slices. This is 16 slices of Sara Lee 45 calorie delightful whole wheat, whole grain, whatever bread. Use whatever low point bread you can find and adjust your points accordingly. It is 18 points for these 16 slices of bread. I turn on my oven to like 400 degrees, and then when it got the temperature, turn it off and just put the bread on the pan, turned it in, and just let the bread dry out as the oven cools. And then just left it out for like half an hour so all the extra moisture goes away. Or you could throw it in the toaster, or you could chop it up and let it air dry out, whatever you want. The key is to dry these out so that it's hard and stale like croutons. But I'm using the Sara Lee Delightful 45 calorie bread because that's the only low point one that my store has. It's their whole grain one. It still tastes good even if it's not white bread. So I mixed up a batch of my 99% fat-free ground turkey. Link will be in the text portion of this post. Cooked it up, crumbled it, broke it up, set it aside. And I have the pan over here, still on heat, and to it we are going to add 2 cups of diced celery, 2 cups of diced onion, and 1.5 cups, okay, that's onion. No, I wasn't watching the Notebook, that's really the onion. 1.5 cups of diced carrot. I am going to bring the camera over here. Let's get to work, baby. My kids have class in 24 minutes. Let's get this going. All right, now, unlike a lot of light stuffing recipes, I am going to forego butter completely and instead using butter flavored cooking spray. You will actually get a lot of butter flavor for 0 points. Now, this is still has the drippings and all that stuff from the Italian sausage, so there's a lot of flavor at the bottom of this pan. Going to add the celery, onions, and carrots. This is at about medium-high heat right now. And to this, I am going to add, depending on your brand, a 0 point amount of cooking spray. This I could get a lot, but just to accommodate everybody who uses Pam or any of the others, I will only use 8 seconds, which is 0 points on most brands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is how we will get our butter flavor into the vegetables. Now, if you do a lot of baking and you have a lot of extracts, not just vanilla extract, but you have, you know, yellow cake extract and rum extract and all those others, they sell, McCormick in the grocery stores in the spice aisle also sells butter extract. You could put just a ½ teaspoon of that in this and you will taste like this thing is swimming in butter. Alright, this has been going for 5 minutes. As you can see, the veggies are starting to sweat and soften. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You could use cracked pepper, you could use the fresh ground stuff, whatever. And I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, chopped. And in this, my normal recipe calls for fresh sage and fresh thyme. The grocery store by my house was out of sage, so I'm using dried. In the dried variety, 1 second, sweetie, you will find it as rubbed sage, and I'm also using dried thyme instead of fresh. My normal recipe calls for a tablespoon each of the fresh stuff. I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons. So instead I am using 1 tablespoon of dried sage and 1 tablespoon of dried thyme, plus 1 teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder. Going to stir these in. And to this, I am adding 3 cups of chicken broth. I'm using fat-free chicken broth. If you're like Chiafulu, you could use the kind that's dripping with bacon grease because he doesn't care and the Nonas don't care. I need love from the Nonas, ladies. And so here's the 3 cups of chicken broth. Bring this up to get this to where it's simmering. And now I am going to get it to a low simmer, like it actually is right now. I'm going to reduce the heat to medium. I'm going to let this cook down for 15 minutes, trying to retain that low simmer. Okay, this is still simmering away. It has 9.5 minutes left. Over here, I took up all of the bread that was dried and I chopped it up into little squares. It's awesome. In the initial recipe from 2 years ago, I have you cut up the bread first and then dry it out. I actually prefer this way because it crumbles up into nice uneven pieces, just like if you buy the regular stuffing dried bread mix at the grocery store. This has been simmering for 15 minutes. As you can see, the liquid reduced down a bit. I turned off the heat, and now we are stirring in our Italian sausage. Now, I used the ground turkey in this primarily as low point bulk. You can also, if you would like, this is highly customizable. You can, if it's your thing, if you're an East Coaster, you can add, chopped up clams or oysters or anything that's traditional for your family. Now, we stirred this in. We are going to let this sit and cool for 15 minutes. All right, everybody, this has been resting and cooling for 15 minutes. Enjoy the musical soundtrack in the background of Jesse's preschool, well, first grade class, singing Morning Circle Time. Because this is cooled off, I have the 2 whole eggs that I have whipped together, and we are going to stir it into this mixture until well combined. And then all of our breadcrumbs, our cube dried bread, I have put over here. We are putting into a big mixing bowl. All right, we have all of our dried bread. We are going to stir in. Yes, you are all about to hear the months of the year, in case you didn't know what they were, folks. So we are just going to mix this all together until well combined. It'll take a little bit, but the bread will immediately start taking in the moisture and start absorbing a lot of the broth and the flavor. While it bakes, the egg will help hold it together because this is all going to get a little bit more soggy. This is how I like it, this consistency and texture. You can add more broth if you like your your dressing, because we're going to be baking this in the oven. If you like it a little mushier, add some more broth. So over here, I have a 13 by 9 casserole pan. My oven is heating to 325 degrees. I'm going to pour all of this in, try to get out as much as we can. Yeah, all you people who are empty nesters now, I bet you must having to hear all these songs over and over. Sweet Lord. So we're going to pat this down. Try to make it as even as possible. I'm going to bust out some foil, and we're going to cover this pan with foil. When our oven gets up to 325 degrees, we are going to bake it covered for 25 minutes. All right, folks, the dressing has been baking for 25 minutes covered. I'm going to take it out of the oven, and we are going to fluff up the dressing. Just toss it a little bit. We want to break it up. We don't want it to just bake into a solid brick. And now that it's broken up a bit, I'm going to return it uncovered back into the oven at 325 for 15 minutes. And I'll pop that right back in. All right, I covered this up just for a big reveal. So this came out of the oven the full time it baked the last 15 minutes uncovered. Now the reveal. Oh, we have a 3-quart 13 by 9 casserole dish that is full of Weight Watchers friendly stuffing / dressing. This makes 12 3/4 cup servings, so plenty for, you know, regular size family get together. The adjusted points after looking at it in the builder again, just a reminder, the first 3/4 cup serving is 3 points for greenies, not 2 as is listed in the previous iterations of the free digital cookbook. I will make those corrections today. Remember to feel free to swap out the ground turkey for any preferred protein you like, or if you would like a more vegetarian option, instead of the chicken broth, use vegetable broth and just bulk it up with more mushrooms or anything in place of the ground turkey. If you are gluten-free and you can't find gluten-free low-point bread to use in place of the Sara Lee, other members in Connect in the past 2 years have mentioned to me they have made a batch of my low point corn muffins, which are going to be in the holiday survival guide download, and they make a modified version of this making cornbread stuffing using the cornbread muffins, which are gluten-free. Jesse, what do you want? Yes. Jesse, you want cookies. All right, Spin Master Jesse is playing Wheels on the Bus for all my homies here and is demanding cookies. And seeing that I am on cookie patrol, I have to wrap this up. So you can do cornbread stuffing. God, I love that kid. Also, the Wheels on the Bus do go round and round, in case anyone's wondering. The dad life. Yeah, you can read all the notes in the recipe, folks. I gotta get juice and cookies.